Hi, welcome to GrandLine Grinders episode 23 of the podcast. And today, of course, we're talking about a couple of different tournaments, one of which is a regional, online regional, also one that's from OP13 Cup, and also a little bit of power rankings. We're going to discuss a little bit about the cheating thing that has been going around lately. Also, we're going to cover our top 10 cards from OP13. It's going to be dropping in the West. So, like always, we are with our lovely co-host with Hatbreed. How you doing?
I'm doing good. My good friend Kebby G, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing great. Hopefully this podcast is going to be pretty good. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
So we can just kind of hop right into this power ranking. It's kind of, I guess, a relatively bigger-ish shakeup. This is like the first time that Blue Purple Luffy has been knocked off of the number one spot in quite a few weeks. But at the same time, it doesn't really feel like much in the format has changed. People are just like picking up Green Purple Luffy again and realizing that it is just like a consistent, strong, aggressive deck. And once you learn the lines and the matchups, especially like people are learning against Blue Purple Luffy that it's actually really strong to like save the stage in your hand so that you can have turns where you can stage your Sanji pudding twice to like make it immune to Mihawk and stuff like that. So there's all these little tech plays that people are learning that are really helping tick up the Green Purple Luffy win percentage. And Blue Purple Luffy is just been the same deck. It's staying the same deck, and people are getting more and more ways to target it. And so we've been seeing win percentages rise in a lot of other places, and Blue Purple Luffy slowly getting pushed down over time from the like dominant force it was in the middle of the metagame. And you'll have to talk about your favorite, the absolutely new appearance on the top 10 list of Purple Katakuri, which seems to have found a list that has a very good blue purple win percentage. I think it says 65% win chance for Purple Katakuri there. So, how do you feel about the Purple Katakuri edition there?
yeah, just before we get into that, so it looks like Grape Luffy is kind of turning into the new Shanks. If you look at the spread, like its losses are above 42.7%.
Yeah.
So that's like a Shanks, kind of dead even split down the board. That's a pretty good rate, and plus, it is a 56 into Luffy, which is pretty nice. I mean, being slightly unfavored into Zoro and Bonnie is kind of not that bad. Like, so maybe Grape Luffy, if you get really good with the deck, is probably going to do quite well. But now
Yeah.
we can get into this category.
Mhm.
If you have something to say about it real quick.
Yeah, just that I think you're kind of right in that it is a very like 50-50 kind of deck where a lot of the times the Grape Luffy matchups come down to either like do I draw counter with my Gum Gum Giant and I'll win, or like I have this 6/7 and it's going to attack twice for 7 or 8, and if that's enough it's enough, and if it's not, GG's, I lost, right? And that like kind of coin flip nature of the deck. It means that there's more red squares here than in some other decks, right? Like some other decks might have less bad matchups, but you never feel like most of your games are unwinnable, which
Yeah.
what can happens with some other decks.
Yeah, it looks pretty good actually. It slightly has more favorable matchups than losing matchups.
Yeah.
3, 5. That one doesn't count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 and 5. Not
But
bad.
there's no like terrible
Yeah.
matchup, right? Like look
The
at Green Zoro into Enel, 21%, or Bonnie into Teach, 24%.
yeah, going down this side. Yeah, it's pretty decent across the board, honestly. It even beats the Decker Bar to talk about, which is Katakuri.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if people are gonna stick around with this deck and see if they can't make it work in OP13 and see if it can't do okay and how you could maybe adjust it for Emu. I wonder how that's gonna pan out. Hopefully, we could see it.
As far as I'm aware, Emu is the beatable one for green purple, but Ace is unbeatable, where they have zero answer to the 12k blocker realistically, and also just can never beat Gold Roger.
So this list actually looks like something I was close to actually
Mm-hmm.
building. I mean, so the four puddings, I have four on us, but two seems okay. Three, four, four. Ovens probably kind of needed for Rayleigh, but
Yeah.
the pudding, Sanji and pudding makes a lot of sense. And it makes sense to go down, cut the entire 10 drop Linlins because you
Hmm.
do -2 Dawn off the pudding, plus you minus Dawn off your Kata. So it makes
Okay.
sense that Linlin's kind of out of the question. And for a while, I was on Conquest of the Sea, or it's Hockey, something is the actual
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hakai.
Akai is on the, I think on the sim, but Conquest is a real card name.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely. I mean, I was on two of these before, having the Searcher, but of course, I was on the purple version of this. I mean, the Katakuri one. He has a special event one
Yeah.
where if
The
you
one that's
review,
+5.
yeah, if you have to guess the top card of their deck, which is kind of suit for that, but it definitely looks like spot on. Like you do want to have access to him. He is the better 2K because you can cheat it down with a pudding if you need to. And then this pudding is also just more 7Ks that can be cheated down with pudding. So overall, I like this list. What do you think?
Yeah. Is there any way to trigger Sanji pudding other than the 7-drop pudding?
Well, your lead triggers it. No, wait, no, it's two, right? You have to do
Yeah, it
two
has to be 2 or more, I think.
-1,
All right, no. Because Hakai is Dawn -1 or 2?
two.
Conquest of the Sea?
So
2.
that
Okay, so that's one other way to trigger it?
yeah, so it's like that's about it.
Okay.
So I mean,
Still, though, I assume Conquest of the Sea is very good against green purple. Like, it's there to help you in that matchup. And probably against Bonnie, too. It seems excellent.
well, two, six or less. I mean, it helps against Rayleigh too.
Yeah.
Um, well, what matchups is it bad against? Grape, Teach, which is kind of understandable.
No pudding.
Then you have Smoker, slightly unfavored, and Nell, 40% into Nell. But it looks like it
But
beats Bonnie, it beats Rayleigh, and it beats Zoro and Luffy. Okay, this deck looks like it might be a legit thing. I don't know.
that's 4 of the top 5 decks.
That's kind of what you need to be if you're going to be a rogue deck. You need to at
Uh,
least do three, but four, that's kind of
yeah.
that's not in the rogue territory anymore.
I think you're right that like the real innovation here is cutting the 10 drop because so many people want to play that card and they think that like, oh, 12k rush, that's so good. Or like, wow, I can use this to be 7k leader. But both A, this like it's very hard for this deck to actually get to 10 Dawn just because you're minusing so much. And B, like the 12k rusher just isn't as impactful as just playing two characters either with your 7-drop pudding or just because you have enough Dawn to like play 2 5 drops or something.
Yeah, I mean definitely. I mean the Linlin was more doable if you did when we didn't have this pudding, but now we do have this pudding. It's kind of out of the question. Seems like,
But
but I kind of like it.
man,
I like it. I don't know if
yeah.
this. I don't know if this could stand up into OP13. Um, if it at least gets one winnable matchup with Zoro, but I don't know how it could do against
Oh.
anything else.
0% chance you beat Emu, and there's no purple red rock, so you can't beat Ace either.
Yeah, you can't really get around the white beard, which we'll talk about later.
I'm gonna miss this format, man. It feels like so many decks are viable if you build your deck list right, if you know what you're going to be playing against, right? Like very clearly, the top 5 kind of have been the top 5 for a while, right? Blue, purple, green, purple, Bonnie, Zoro, Rayleigh. But like, if you pick 2 or 3 of the decks and you're like, these are the ones I want to beat, then you can do really well with your rogue deck list. And it feels like we're going to lose that capability soon. We'll talk more about it more, but I'm going to
Yeah.
say again, I think this will go down as one of the best formats in history, man. PRB2, really great format. You guys are hating on it now, but you're going to miss it when it's gone.
I mean, I miss the OP11 format. I know. I'm one of the
I
few.
don't.
One of the few. And I'm glad
Yeah.
it's gone because I mean, I feel like it would have definitely caused the death of the game. So
Yeah.
even though I enjoyed it, I have to accept what's better for the game.
I miss OP10. OP10, I think, was good.
I think I kept, but that was you're talking about after the bans, right? Because wasn't that when
Yeah.
Mori was banned? No.
Yeah, before Blue Purple came out as a leader, but yeah, after the Moria ban, yeah, that format was great.
So,
Shanks, Bonnie.
you have anything else to say about this power ranking
No.
before we get into it? All right. So October, Eggman hosted a online regional in October. I mean, so we had three Luffy's, three Rayleighs, three other Luffy's, two Teaches in the top 32, a couple Bonnies, one Carrot.
Yeah.
And then we had an Enel and a Smoker. The green red Smoker. So Carrot got third. That's pretty impressive.
Monkey Fight TCG. He's a YouTuber whose videos I think are excellent. Just like very good videos. Really, seriously, highly recommend his YouTube channel. I think it's great. And yeah, he went 9-1 with Carrot. Like it again, like this format is so good. Like, what do you mean 9-1 with Carrot? Like a leader like this doing well, it's so sick. He made a video talking about his run where he talked about how like he has a plan for almost all of his matchups. He has some bad matchups for sure, but he felt solid into UP, solid into Zoro, and solid into like Enel and stuff like that. And that's mainly what he faced. And solid into GP as well with the Pedro and the Carrot. And yeah, just like if you have a deck that you know inside and out, and he's been playing this deck since it came out in 06, he's been trying to make it work. So it's paid off for him. And this is like the format to do it in. It's so sick.
Yeah, I mean, the issue is like I don't know what how good this is gonna do into emo next round. I mean,
Yeah.
like the resting is the best way and freezing is the best way, but it's not that hard for them just to reset their entire board by just replaying another 10 drop,
But that's what I'm
sacking it,
saying.
and
It's
blowing the
like,
board back up.
yeah, it's just we can't. For right now, we have to pretend that OP13 doesn't exist, and you have to appreciate this format what it is. Because yeah, it's going to change forever, right? Like OP13 is going to change everything forever.
Yes.
So that's why I'm just like, yeah, you could not play this deck ever again after this unless there's some serious changes to the meta game and the cards released. But
yeah, and I don't
you
know
can play it now, and you can do really well with it now if you're good at the game and you're good at your deck.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if that new EBO3 card is going to be enough.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's so sad that it's coming out after OP13.
Yeah.
But so Teach got fifth, pretty interesting. Overall, like this seems like a pretty reasonable tournament. Bonnie's got 10th, 11th. Carrot overperforming over them. Luffy's got at the bottom of this totem pole, but it got first.
Yep.
So you can't say that Luffy doesn't get first.
No, but that's not Luffy. That's Chris Soak. He's like top 10 player in the world. No cap. Seriously. He's been playing since 01.
So you're saying it's him, not because of the deck.
Yeah. He's just insane. He's very good.
All right. If you were watching this video, Chris, hit that thumbs up and comment. Let us know. Was it the deck or was it you?
I mean, he'll probably say it was the deck, but he's being humble because the deck is really good for sure, but people have found ways to beat it.
So we have chosen one. He wasn't the chosen one.
Yeah.
He lost. but got second. Pretty impressive stuff. I couldn't even probably even get into the top 32, so I have no room to talk. Um, Daniel the Destroyer, great name. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. The fact that they put people's like nicknames from the Bandai app is very funny.
Yeah, one of these times I need to have my name right here. KBG, just right
Oh,
there.
that's Cody Angeloff probably.
Yeah. So I mean, this tournament looks interesting. Like it's a lot of the same decks, but overall, like that we've seen most of this entire time, but except the carrot and now showing up. And two Teaches, these two players are probably not going to move off Teach, I would assume. Because Teach is looking okay next in the next set.
Yeah, you're good against everything except Emu, where you insta concede.
If you could, it basically would be a format where you have to play four Jesuses again.
Yeah.
Because you have to hyper aggro them. Right now, I know they've been trimming down on it. They should. Yeah, 3 or 2. I've been putting 2 in mine.
Yeah.
It's just not necessary because it's not really required, but it will be coming soon.
One Mancherry is interesting. I like that.
What?
The one copy of Mancherry.
Yeah. I seen somebody was talking about it as he was discussing the deck with Vampire Gaming,
Mm-hmm.
and he mentioned that Mancherry is his tech card as a
Mm-hmm.
one of because he likes being able. This actually might be him. Yeah, this might actually be his list because he was talking about
Mm-hmm.
it. He did play 2 this year. He did say that he would swap one of these for this one because 1-2 split seems better. Um, yeah. So yeah, Mancherry is like his tech card to being able to grind late, especially against Blue Purple Luffy, where they get 2 cards per turn. Being able to get 2 cards per turn as well goes a long way. But of course, then we have our warm up cup. So we have 4 emus in the top 8, 2 aces, 1 Zora, 1 Lim. Lim got third. Pretty interesting
Yeah.
stuff. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, Lim is definitely one of those decks that you can still play because, like, the name of the game in OP13 is it really feels like play as Ace or Emu or play as a deck that can end the game before the 10 Dawn turn matters, right? Because both, like, that's true for Zoro, Lim, Bello Betty, that type of stuff. It's just the 10 drops are too powerful in OP13, right? Like the 10 drop that Emu can play and the 10 drops that Ace can like chain together multiple turns in a row because they usually play 10 or some, they'll play 8 searchers. Sometimes they can play between 8 and 12, but then they also have Marco that draws 2. They also have Yamato that draws 2, and they have their leader that draws 1 multiple times. So they just draw so many cards that they can guaranteed chain 10 drops. So you have to either have a deck that has a way to reliably kill 10 drops, which is not like, which locks out a lot of colors. Or you need to play one of the broken 10 drop decks like Ace or Emu, or you have to play a deck that can end the game before the 10 drops really matter. And that's like Lim and Zoro. Because Lim can get 5 characters into play before Emu can, and then it's like, okay, you play 5 characters, but I still just kill you with the Mihawk on tap or something.
It makes me wonder. I wonder how good Bell Betty is into this. Because Betty could easily get, I would say, more than 3 7K attackers, so it might be actually pretty decent into Ace.
Yeah.
And of course, Emu is probably just a buy or close to it.
Yeah. And Ace has no interaction outside of 6 drop Jozu and Red Rock. So yeah, Bello Betty into Ace is often like free.
Yeah, so I wonder how good it actually is. I know it's going to be horrible into Zoro,
Yeah.
but if you could find a way to make that matchup better without, you know, crippling yourself into these two, could be a pretty good budget deck.
Definitely Zoro gets a bunch of new good cards, and it's nice that they showed some other the pie was only top 8, but they had some
Mm-hmm.
other interesting top 16 decks, right? Like ninth place Luffy, 12th place Sabo, 14th place
We have Roger.
Roger. I think Sabo is in a spot where you can reliably beat Ace, but you cannot reliably beat Emu. So it feels tough to play right now, but it's not terrible.
And then you have Luffy.
Luffy can win because it has Magellan, so it can stop you from even getting to Tendon in the first place.
It playing Brain New World is
Wow.
interesting.
I have to try that. I have not tried that yet, but that does seem like a really cool idea. Because I like this, but I have not been impressed with Searcher Nami Zorojuro. Just because, like, God, Searcher Nami has 4, 8, 12, 13, 15, yeah, 17 targets. It feels really rough playing a Searcher that has under 20 targets.
From her.
Yeah.
But she does look top 5 at least. Not top 4,
Still,
but
yeah, most of
still.
them do, but still, playing if you play less than 20, you're going to miss like guaranteed 1 out of 10.
Yeah, so it looks like they cut Law, which makes sense. Especially having that view looking top 4 is going to be even worse statistically.
And the
So,
new Rayleigh and stuff, which is cool too.
and this one, I'm pretty sure this one gets anything. So you can get your Magellans, which
Yep. Yeah, you need to have Magellan be searchable, which makes sense because like it's so important. It is so important.
such a weird looking card.
Yes, agreed.
Because it looks like it's been with his hand drawn.
Yeah. I know it's intentional, but the fact that it looks like it was a draft and not finished, it looks weird, right? It looks like, why did they not add color or a border or anything to this yet?
Yeah, it makes me think of Magic has the what do you call it, boosters draft. They have that draft set they do ever so often where it's just like
Oh,
cards.
Jumpstart or something?
No, it's they're they cards they thought about making, but they never made it, and it's just left in this kind of coloring. They've had like 2 of them.
Oh, the mystery
Yeah, the
set
mystery
or whatever.
boosters.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
they usually have that same kind of
Yes. Yep.
concept artwork.
Yeah.
That's what it makes me think of. But yeah, this actually might be a pretty solid list if you're looking into getting to Luffy.
Yeah. I think you can find something better than the Searcher Nami and the Searcher Zoro drill, but I really like the idea of the song event being able to search up Magellan.
And Roger. I never understood the Sanji. Is it just because it's a 2K?
Yeah, and you want to be able to be aggressive against Emu and Ace. And also, it is nice to have a way to put yourself to 0 to turn on Gold Roger.
0. I mean, that doesn't. How does that help you?
The Gold Roger character, 10 drop.
Oh, we're talking about. Interesting. Interesting line. You just
Yeah.
randomly put yourself to 0 so that you can make where the hand block.
Yep. You just play it as a 10 drop 13k rusher, and then, some following turn, if they don't kill it, you can put yourself to 0 and make it so that all their blockers can't block forever, right? And try to win that game, as well as potentially have an extra 7k swing with the Sanji or something, right?
Yeah, this definitely looks a little bit more aggressive. You have your kid and killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kid Killer and 3 copies of 9 drop as well.
Yeah. I mean, they're not playing the.
I assume it wasn't legal for this event yet.
Or they just can't get their access on it. I don't know. I guess no. I mean, it's online.
Yeah, it's a
Usually,
sim tournament.
that's actually a perfect segue. So the next topic, of course, is about the recent cheating. So we've had
Yeah.
multiple cut ones. One of them, which they just play 5 copies of "This Is My Era" in their deck. Kind of a
Yeah.
weird cheat. Then, of course, there's the other one was blue purple Luffy, where they kind of said they drew, but they didn't. They put it back.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
like people are wondering, like, so what do you have opinions on the whole
Um,
apparatus of this?
my big thing is that, like, I think people need to call judges more often. and judges should just like pay attention to this stuff more. And I feel like people too often have this like draconian idea of cheating that like if somebody cheats, it's just like boom, like game lost, DQ them from the tournament or whatever, right? Where I feel like what we really need is that like mistakes happen often, and like repeated is mistakes that are beneficial to you are usually clear indications of someone cheating. But if a judge can step in and clear things up and kind of be a mediator, that's like the most helpful. Of course, it's kind of awkward in online tournaments because when you call a judge, it's going to be your version of events versus your opponent's version of events, and like the judge doesn't know as much of what is going on. But that's where I really recommend you like stream or record your matches in some way, if at all possible, and have a record that you can show the judge and other people or whatever. And that's why people are always like, oh, people who are streaming themselves, they wouldn't cheat or whatever, but it is sometimes accidental, and it's like easy to just make an accident that benefits you greatly, right? Because you really want to win the event. But we need judges to step in and dole out some sort of like medium interim punishments where it's like, okay, you get a warning here, you get an extra deck check there, you get, a game loss here. But I just want to discourage people from trying to go with the instantly like smear someone's entire reputation and demand that Bandai permaban them. And yeah, but be
Yeah.
vigilant, but I think you should also be a little forgiving and allow judges to be the people who dole out punishments and not internet mobs. But I'm not sure. That's my opinion.
Yeah, so one thing that I think that VVV theory brought up that I thought was pretty spot on is I really do think we need to get a online client, one that actually Bandai will trust to do the online tournaments. I mean, because like we for Magic they have MTGO that has like these regional kind of like tournaments. I really do think that's something that needs to be done. I don't really think having these camera tournaments make a lot of sense when it comes to cheating. It's pretty easy. I think it's much easier to cheat in a camera based tournament like they do than it would be in paper or even an online client. But that's something I don't know how we could address that. It's definitely not something we could do in the interim or quickly enough. But
Yeah. It's a tough thing where it's like the online client makes it a lot harder to cheat for sure. But the online client also makes it a lot harder to compete because it will force people to buy their cards twice, right? So like it like becomes into a point where like the people playing online are completely different than the people playing offline, which could be a good thing depending on the pricing model. But
yeah,
the unfortunate thing is that when you play in-person events, it is kind of a disincentive to cheating to have like someone sitting at the table right next to you, right? Like just the idea that someone is potentially watching you like does lower the amount of cheating by a lot. So I wish there was a way to more manageably like have people feel like they're being watched. Like maybe institute some kind of like, okay, one person has to be recording the matches so that the judge can come up and be like, hey, I need your match footage. Send it to me. We're reviewing your match. And if something happens, if the review checks out bad, you're not going to get any prizing for this tournament. That way it's like not it gives people more time to actually get like the full context, but also like disincentivize people from being like, oh, well, if I know I cheated and I also know that the judge is going to check my footage, then it's like, okay, I might as well just drop out now rather than try and get prizing that's going to be withheld from me anyway after they review the footage or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah, the big problem with online webcam tournaments is that people feel like they're in their own home within their own walls and they feel like nobody's looking unless they're on the feature match table. and that definitely makes it so people can get away with more things.
So I guess I wonder. I haven't done them before. So typically it's done through Discord, isn't it, or
Yep.
no?
Hmm.
So they should be at least. It should be somebody should be able to enter their Discord chat to watch, right?
Yeah, they do, but often there's 1,000 people and they have maybe a dozen judges, right? So there'll be like 5 tables out of 1,000 that actually have a judge actively watching them or something like that.
Yeah,
5 tables
I was
out
going
of
more like
500, sorry, 500 pairs.
I was going more like how easy it is to call a judge.
Not very. You have to ping the judge channel and then wait for one to come, which can take, you know, 1 to 3, 4 minutes or whatever.
Nah. Okay. Um. Yeah. So,
But
is there anything else you want to talk about regarding cheating?
um no, I think call judges more often. Let them be the arbiter. And yeah,
Be
be
very
aware of
vigilant.
your own plays and try and be as clear and open as possible. That's all I always say.
Yeah, and be very vigilant and keep an eye on everything your opponent is doing, if you
Uh,
can, of course,
yeah.
because they might try to sneak something in, and if it looks suspicious, call a judge.
Yeah.
So that's all we got for that little small discussion. I didn't think it was going to be all that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it's not a, it is a big deal, but I mean, at the same time, it's a part of every TCG. I think even like Pokemon has sometimes some issues with cheating. So what are you going to do? This is part of the game.
Yeah.
So now we're going to move into the top 10 list. So first of all, of course, we have the arguably the most broken card from the set. This was his number one, my number two. Either way, it's still very high on our list. So how strong is the Empty Throne?
I think it's the most broken card ever printed. Probably. The only close second is 8-drop Gecko Moria, but I think this is the most insane card ever printed, like ever. It's, yeah. Playing a 10-drop for 3 is just completely ridiculous. The more and more I play against it, the more I realize that, like, Emu as a deck is not that big of a problem if the 10-drop actually costs 10. And the biggest way you see this is either if you play Purple Luffy or if you play the Mirror. Because when you play the Mirror, you can't put the 7-drop stage into play because there is a way to remove it in the 1-drop Rad Beam event, which has an alternative mode of KO a 7-cost stage. And when the 7-cost stage does not exist, Emu is a fair deck. But the combination of this card existing, and not only does this card exist, you start the game with it, so you don't have to spend any Dawn on it. You don't have to find it with a searcher. You just search your deck, find it, put it into play, and you just instantly, like, that's what makes it the most broken card in the game, because you always have it. You always have it. You never don't have it. It is essentially unremovable except in the Mirror, right? No deck can kill this card except the Mirror, because there's no card that KOs a stage that costs more than 3. It just doesn't exist in the game right now. And that is such a huge problem with the existence of this card. The fact that is insanely busted, letting you play a 10-drop for 3, 4 basically, because it costs 1 to activate, but still. And then you have 6 Dawn left over with which you can attack, cast events, cast blockers, right? Like, I've lost because people have played a 10-drop for 4 and then still had enough Dawn to play another blocker. So they have 3 blockers now, and they're holding up 2 Rad Beams. You just get too much value for too low of a cost. And if this card is not banned in like when I saw Gecko Moria, I said this card is going to get banned in a year, like at least a year. it got banned in about a year, like slightly over a year. And this card, I think, is going to get banned in 6 months. I don't think this card survives a year. Like, it's completely broken.
Yeah, I don't think people are going to tolerate it for that long. Just thinking about it. Would it be an issue if this card just said under the rules of the game, okay, then at the beginning of the game you could search up, before you draw your hand, you could search for a stage and put it in your hand.
Yeah,
but it still be
that
that
would
broken.
also be, yeah.
So instead of putting it into play by default, it would just put it into your hand. So you start with 8 cards, or no, not 8, but one additional card, which is always a stage.
Yes, even if that would be fine. Like, if you start with it as your 6th card in hand, it would be fine because it would still require
you start with 7th. You would have 7 cards in hand.
Yeah.
No,
6, right?
I'm saying you would get your normal 6, then you could put a stage, reveal the stage, and put one in your hand. And beginning of the game start with 7.
No, but you start the game with 5 cards in hand.
Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, so you would start the game with 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would have been a fair way of doing it, and it allows you to have the card always. But then you have to take 7 Dawn off to play the dang thing. But at least it would make it, I think, a more balanced card.
It requires you to skip the entire turn to play it, which would be a aggressive enough downside where the fast decks could kill you. But like if you could, the reason why, if they just have the 1-drop Mary Joie, then they can play the 10-drop on 10, but then they don't have any Dawn up to do anything else. And that's so much less of a problem, because then it's then Hody Jones is a real answer. As it stands right now, Hody Jones against Emu is kind of irrelevant, because even if you rest the 2 blockers, they probably still have 3 Dawn up left over to just Rad Beam out of your Hody Jones attacks plus whatever else you have left. And that's just too powerful. It's too good. One of the previous most broken cards in the game was Moby Dick, because Moby Dick was also a stage for which there was no removal, and it just provided so much stats, right? It was 2,000 power to your leader and every single Whitebeard character in play, which was your entire deck. So it was every card in play was plus 2k plus your leader. But that card you still had to search for. And there were some games where you did not have it. And there were some games where if you're playing 4 copies of it, you draw 2 copies. And then you had a legitimate dead card in your hand with no counter and no purpose. Empty Throne removes all of those downsides. You don't have to play more than 1 copy. You don't have to search for it. It just starts the game in play. And
it's so great that it's breaking my my co-host.
Yeah. The more I play against this card, the more I get mad about it, because I have been testing OP13 a lot, and so many games just feel so frustratingly futile, where they hit 10 Dawn and you know for sure they are going to play 3, at least potentially 4 of the 10-drop in a row, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, moving on.
Yeah. So next on our list, of course, is a blue card. So shout out to Blue finally getting a card that's worthy of the top 3. That hasn't really happened in quite some time, I don't think. He says we've done this podcast. I can't remember ever being a top 3 blue card like this. So what do you think about Edward Newgate, and with basically pairing it with I Am Whitebeard?
Yeah,
this card is
really, 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 really good. It's if this card was a 10-drop 12k blocker, you'd be like, maybe I'll play it. If this was a 10-drop 12k blocker and it drew 2 and trashed 1, you'd be like, yup, I'll play it. Sign me up. You don't have to. I don't need any more. I'm happy. But it's a 10-drop 12k blocker that draws 2, discards 1, and gives you not 2, but 4 rested Dawn to attack with. So it's just a lot. It is a lot for 10, and it's very, very powerful. 12k blocker is so hard to get through. Some decks will just never make progress because they'll have 1 character in play, and that character gets canceled by Newgate. Then they play a second character, that character gets canceled by the second new gate, and so on and so forth. If you just chain these 12k blockers together, like none of their attacks matter because you can't make an attack bigger than 12k more than like once or twice.
I mean, and regarding to it being defensive wise, I mean, I don't think it's definitely not as good as Teach is as a 10 drop when it comes to defensive wise, because that one also prevents an attacker as well as being a 12k body on the block. But
Mm-hmm.
it does, there's definitely a lot of overlap here, and
Mm-hmm.
on how you would feel about both cards. Drawing two, trashing one. Of course, this card is much worse than to Teach. It's just a vanilla blocker, 12. 12. But still, you're not going to complain about that, especially if you get for a Dawn. Like an 8
But it's
drop.
not leader locked in any way like Teach
Yeah.
is, so you can play this in almost any blue deck you could ever want.
Yeah. It's arguably, I would say it's top 5 best blue cards. Would you say that?
Yeah, easily.
Yeah. I mean, Marco is probably in the top 5 as well.
Yeah, it's up there with like Red Rock and Marco Blocker and stuff like that. But I can see why they banned the Nami leader, because imagine Nami playing this card.
I mean, would she play it?
Maybe not, but it would still be really good.
It'd be funny, and I would think it'd be hilarious.
Yeah,
I would actually makes it a little more interesting. Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting if that was still.
But the fact that it's an option feels like it shouldn't be. So I can see more now why they banned the leader, even on top of Otama and the Marco Blocker and whatnot.
Yeah, actually, we have a few blue cards to go through it today.
Yeah,
the blue is eating in this set. Pretty good set.
For sure.
We're already on here, so might as well just. This is kind of like his 7th, and I think I put it up around 5. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure it's around there for me. So Atama, just a 1 drop. If you have 3 or less life, just draw 2, trash 1. What do you think about this card as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, in the ace deck, it's always active because you start the game at 3 life. But there's just a lot of decks that this card can really do a lot of really cool combos with, right? Like, I've been playing it in Green Blue Rosinante, where you can play this card and then bounce it with another card on our top 10 list, or my top 10 list, the 6-drop Law, and it combos with Jozu, of course, in all the blue decks, and it's just like one of the best 2Ks they've ever made in terms of being a 2K that you actually want to put into play quite often, just as like, if your hand ever looks really bad, you just are like, fuck it, I'll play Otama, try and draw into something better. And it's just a really solid, like for me, it's hard to put like a 2K in the top 5 because they can only make 2Ks so good, but
yeah, they definitely
still
went
really
over.
good.
They went over that marker for this one.
For sure.
It is a little weird though that it is Atlanta Wano in blue. I mean, there's not really a leader that cares about that necessarily. I mean, maybe at some point we'll get some sort of green, blue Atlanta Wano leader. That might be interesting, but it's definitely an awesome card.
Yeah, I think they very intentionally did not want to make it searchable by anything.
Yeah. And being a 2K is just kind of nice a little bit extra. And we're already on blue. The last card, of course, it's your number 4, and it's my number 3. It's a Yamato. So I guess technically here's another Wano. So on play, if you have 3 or less life, draw 2 cards, then you may give 1 Rested Dawn to your leader. It's a 1K counter. What do you think about this?
I mean, yeah, this card's excellent. The fact that all of the blue cards are not really leader locked in any way is just like such a win for blue as a color, which has really been struggling for so long, right? This one, draw 2 is just, there was quite a while where we did not have that many draw effects just because they were so scared of making Nami too good. And once they decided that they were going to ban Nami, it really feels like they felt more comfortable printing draw a card on a bunch more blue cards. And it's really nice because it buffs a lot of decks. I mean, I think it's unfortunate how much of a buff it is to the ace deck. because all the other blue decks could have really benefited from this type of card as well. But it's really nice value. 2 cards is awesome. The fact that you get a Dawn on your leader is like just that extra little bit of value, which is really sweet. But
Yeah,
just a really solid all around card.
it is a little interesting. I highly doubt um Luffy would ever consider playing this, but both of these two technically are Luffy able. I mean, he also starts with 3 life. Um, I don't know if there's ever a word we can put this on 5 and then draw 2 and then swing with a 7k Luffy lead. But there's definitely other leaders that maybe could use this in the future. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems
I think
like
blue purple Luffy like enjoys having the Nami too much on 5, both because it's searchable off leader and a blocker. But yeah, every other blue deck will like really be like, oh, do I rather have Yamato or would I rather have Nami?
yeah, it's definitely gonna be one of those things that going forward you're gonna be looking for blue leaders that start with 3 life, and you're gonna definitely immediately consider this one Anatama.
Yeah.
So
Or leaders that can get to 3 life easily. Because I've also been playing this Yamato in like green blue Rosinante, which can just block with its face and go to 3 very easily.
that is true. Doesn't take much for that deck to get down to low if you want it to be, for sure.
4 life leaders are good with this card as well, just because all you have to do is take 1 and then it's active.
Yeah, usually you want to take your first hit anyways, just because
Exactly.
you're usually trying to look for something to get your game plan rolling. All right, so red. Do we have anything in red that's worth talking about? You have Garp.
Yeah, it's the
So
only good red card. Yeah.
it's a young version of him, but so yeah, so this is a good searcher if you're planning on playing Sabo, Ace, or Luffy. Um, Sadly, not all of the old ones get access to this because like Ace and Black Yellow Luffy doesn't really they don't play red. So, but look top 4, you can put a 3 cost or higher in your hand. So what deck do you think is best with this card?
I mean, it definitely is blue red ace because this allows you to search for a lot of the stuff that's good in that deck, like the 2K Uta, Jozu, 10 drop Roger. But it's good in it's good in every deck that has this name that can play it. It's good in the Sabo deck as well. It's good in red green Luffy. It's good in the red yellow Sabo. So it's just like it definitely is like I thought originally that you could play this in any red deck. And Kevy had to remind me that you can only play it in Sabo, Ace, and Luffy. But it is so good in the leaders that can play it that I rate it higher than I usually rate your average searcher.
Yeah, maybe we'll finally have a reason to play ST21 Luffy again.
Yes, also true.
I
Yep.
don't know if that's actually going to be a thing, but it technically works. I don't
Mhm.
know if there's. I guess there's one red ace, but
They could print something to make that card back good.
the old vent one, the old vent ace.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
But
The set 2 ace. Yeah,
okay,
if there's any color that kind of got shafted in OP13, it's definitely red. All of the leaders are half red, right? The like Luffy, Ace, Sabo, Roger, but none of the actual individual red cards are all that great.
yeah, the one of the ones that I think are even remotely interesting. The issue is that removal's not that impressive, so dragon isn't all that effective. So like it kind of gets shafted because Emu exists. If
Mhm.
Emu didn't exist, people would play removal. If people played removal, Dragon gets a lot of value. But
Yeah.
the fact that you're not able to, people aren't playing removal. So what are you gonna do with that one? Other than that, I'm not sure if red is tended just to be something to build something for the future. Because it honestly seems like we have these two. I guess these are for maybe VV out of
Yeah, and EVO.
EBO3.
Yep.
So maybe these are just plants for the future.
Maybe.
I hope so, because otherwise the red's a wash.
Yeah,
Red has kind of been getting shafted lately.
for
Which
sure.
which is kind of the reason why one of the things that maybe in the future we'll talk about is we know they kind of they revealed the OP14 leaders, and I do think I would not be shocked if red gets an a secret rare, because
Yeah.
they have not gotten one since '09.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Roger,
Since
10 drop
really?
Roger was the last secret rare for red. So they're kind of due for one. Um, so I have talked about Shanks. This was one of mine. My 10th place.
Oh,
I'm
interesting.
because I know it's showing up somewhat. Sadly, I didn't put this in my Uda deck that I just played last night. I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know how good it would be in Uda, but I think isn't this showing up in Luffy?
Yeah. And
What
in Zoro.
do you think about this card?
It's fine. Funny enough, they've been playing it in Lim as well, because apparently there's some kind of mistranslation from the Japanese to the English where like it's supposed to say you cannot play cards like using their Dawn cost, basically. But it does allow you to, for example, activate Limb Leader effect and play a card off of Limb Leader. So they have been playing it in that deck as well, where you just play this, you untap 10 Dawn, and then you use 3 of it to activate your leader and the rest to attack and hold up like counter events.
So,
Um,
so does that ruling actually transfer over to the English
yes,
based on how this is worded,
yes.
or is this not technically accurate?
The English wording is not technically accurate. The Japanese writing of the card, like I said, says like you cannot play cards from your hand using their own Dawn costs or whatever, basically. That's the official rule translation of the card. So if there's like leader effects or other card effects that would let you play a card, you can still use those.
Yeah, technically, like if you were playing I Am Whitebeard, that technically would work, right? With this
No,
effect?
because you're playing I Am Whitebeard from your hand.
Oh yeah, it's right. It's right. My bad. I don't know why I thought I read this and I thought it was characters. No, it's just events, anything. So
But like, for example, like there's some card that like lets you return it to your hand to play a more expensive version or whatever. Like for example, if you had the 2-drop Katakuri or whatever. Like if you're playing a green purple deck and you like, I don't know, in some mythical world you play this and you have a 2-drop Katakuri already in play, you could sacrifice that 2-drop Katakuri to still play a 8-drop from your hand.
yeah, makes sense. And that makes a lot of sense that it should happen. So we didn't really have Uda or Sanji on our list.
No.
They did perform okay in when I played Uda yesterday, but
Yeah. I do like the 4-drop Uta, and I am playing some copies of it in my OP13 Bonnie deck list, but I don't quite think it's a top 10 card just because I think it only goes in like 1 or 2 decks, maybe.
yep. So now we have a couple cards to talk about here, and this is the card more for you. I have it
Yeah.
as my 11th spot. I do think it's good, but I'm not as high on it.
I think this is the best card since Hody Jones I think this is the best green card since Hody Jones or Cavendish. Like legitimately, I think this card's insane. It's so good. I want to put it in every single green deck I can. It's amazing. It's just like the return a character to your hand is just straight upside. There's just no downside. It's all straight upside. And I didn't realize it until like a couple of weeks ago or whatever, but I didn't realize it when I first read the card. But this is supernova typing. And the Searcher Jewelry Bonnie, I'm pretty sure they have said survives rotation.
Yes.
So,
It, I can't remember.
yeah, you're saying?
I don't think they gave it a manga, but it does survive.
Yeah, they reprinted it in PRB 2 or 3 or something
Yeah,
like that.
too. And they wanted everyone to make sure that these cards will be legal for longer because they are in the set.
Mm-hmm. And like the way it combos together with the 1-drop Jewelry Bonnie is just so busted. Where like you play a 1-drop Jewelry Bonnie, you often search something really good that you can play off of this law, like Cavendish, the secret rare Jewelry Bonnie, or the 5-drop Jewelry Bonnie that keeps a Dawn rested, right? Like you can play either of those 3 cards off of the law that you return the Bonnie that you search the cards with to your hand, right? It's just like so much advantage. And like, yeah, especially the way it works with the 5-drop secret rare Bonnie is so sweet because 6 Dawn are rested for the law, and then the Bonnie comes in rested as the 7th. So all you have to do is attack with your leader to have 8 rested cards to trigger the secret Bonnie to draw 2 pitch 1. So like the cards that you can play off of this are so good. Like the secret rare Bonnie, Cavendish if your leader is Supernova. There's a bunch of other really good ones you can play off of this, like Carrot. I've been using it in Green Brew Rosinante to play down the 5-drop blue Yamato. So you can play this in multicolor decks as well because it's not leader locked in any way. There's just so many good 5-drops that you can play off of this card. And then it still also gains blocker when you're at 1, which is really impactful. I love this card. I don't think it's the best card in the set, but it's my favorite card in the set easily.
Yeah, maybe I'm not as high on it because when I was playing it yesterday, ironically, I ended up cutting Honey Jones from my Uda deck because after realizing it, there was just so many bricks. Like, I was like, I'd rather have an option for a 3K counter to stay alive than Honey Jones, which is not a brick. Plus, this is a brick. The new Sanji's a brick. And this card didn't feel all that great in Uda. So maybe that's the reason why I'm not as high on it. It didn't feel as good, but in that particular deck, but it could feel pretty good in a Supernova typing deck.
Yeah.
For sure.
Uta just doesn't have any really good 1 or 2 drops to recycle, which is unfortunate. But
Yeah.
it's also slash type, so it's really good in every single deck that plays Perona because you can play Perona to search this and then play the law to bounce the Perona for value. It's so good.
Yeah, I think it's super bad. Why did they give us this card instead of just making this a film searcher?
Yeah, for sure.
They've never gave Uda a 1-drop green film searcher.
Yeah, the event is just nowhere near as good as having an actual 1-drop with counter.
Actually, that's actually pretty base, that card. Because it's a 1-drop that untaps a Dawn. So
Yeah.
it's kind of free. And
yeah, it is kind of free, but it's still counterless if you have it in your life or whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember if it has a trigger or not. I think next is Zoro. So this also is a card I played in the deck, which was nice. So comes down. That's just actually Sanji's the reason why I decided to go with Dead Man's Game over Hody Jones as well because it untaps a Dawn at the end of the turn, which I felt like I was not utilizing all that well. But this card untaps to the end step and also, of course, it resets to Dawn when ETBs. If it's a film or straw hat, what do you think about Zoro and what deck are you excited to try it in?
It's mostly really good in Green Zoro itself, but it just combines really well with the 3-drop Mihawk. It's not quite as good as I was hoping it would be, just because the like film or straw hat crew is a little more restrictive than I originally thought. But it is so good in the decks that can play it that it still made my top 10 list. And especially like the way it combines with the 3-drop 2K Mihawk in the Green Zoro deck, giving like the Green Zoro deck an entirely new angle to like attack other decks at is like what I think pushes it over the edge to me. And I know people are already sick of Green Zoro or whatever, but I think that deck is still overall like totally fine. It's simple and just like bash opponent with heavy stick style deck, but I would always rather that than the Emu style where it takes a little while, but then I assemble a nuclear bomb and detonate it on your head.
Yeah, honestly, in that situation, I think I would rather just have an alternative Link edition that's more interesting than just having a nuclear bomb like that. So I have one question about this card, and I want to get your input on it. So we know in OP13 we are getting the Kinemon. The new Kinemon is a 4-drop, 5,000 slasher. On enter the battlefield, it just untaps 3 Dawn, and I think that's on KO. Like you get to rest something. I think on KO.
Yep.
So how long do you think this card is actually going to be relevant, though? That's one of my things I was just thinking about because I think Kinemon is better than this. Because untapping
No, you
three,
play
because
both.
you can play both, but what I've understood, people said there's not enough room, even for
Mm,
Kinemon.
maybe, but like I've already been having an issue with my Zoro deck that like the Mihawk having its only target be this Zoro is definitely a little awkward. But I think it's still like you'll play 4 Kinemon and 2 Zoro or something like that, or maybe do 3 and 3. But I think the set character active end of turn is actually very relevant. And the fact that it is like going to repeatedly attack every single turn and it's hard for the opponent to attack into, I think is a little bit more relevant than Kinemon's
Resting on death.
yeah, resting on KO.
Yeah, because it's definitely something I was thinking about. Because untapping three means, of course, you could Mihawk into Kinemon, untap three, put all three on Zoro lead and attack.
Hmm.
Is a much cleaner line. This one you can't really turn on. I don't think you could turn on Zoro's ability because don't you need three on it? Or am I wrong?
Yeah. You do need 3 on it. It's just like other turns or whatever. But
But yeah, so Zoro's. I mean, it's still a good card.
yeah.
I do wonder if this is going to be better or worse, and is it going to be okay in Mihawk? I wonder. Or is
Well, you don't
this?
get the untapped 2 Dawn in Mihawk because you're not Film or Straw
Yeah,
Hat.
yeah, yeah.
That's the thing that makes this card awkward, but I do like it a lot.
So I guess it'd be more of how does it feel in Luffy?
It's really good there, just as a like untap and a turn thing.
Yeah, because I mean this untaps to Dawn, so that way you can leave
Yeah.
up to 4K
Hmm.
counter, which is pretty solid in its own right. So I think that's it for the green. If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken here. Let me check mine. I don't think. Yeah, there's no other green. So
Nope.
going down, we covered blue. Next is purple. So of course this tends to be just filled with pretty solid um, ramp stuff for Roger, but we both agree. Silver's Rayleigh, I have it at 7. You have it at 8. So it's pretty much kind of equal footing. So what the card does, it's a drop 9K rusher. I like the fact that it's not on play rush because it doesn't get got by Blackbeard. I know it's something that most people don't care about, but
Yeah, but
it's
it's
a nice.
relevant.
It is something. So if you have any Dawn's given, it does. Of course, this is not leader locked, which is why Luffy's been playing it as well. So if you're, I wonder, can this make a difference in something like Grape Luffy? Because it's a lot more aggressive than Purple
Yeah.
Luffy, and Purple Luffy's picking it up. Does
I
that?
don't think Grape Luffy is going to reliably get to 9 Dawn, but I do think that like this made the list because it's playable. It's the Roger card that's playable in other decks outside of just Roger. And I think there's a like I don't know what other purple decks could play this, but there is some. Purple Luffy being the main one, but like if Purple Katakuri comes back, it is tempting to consider this card.
Actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I faced Red Purple Luffy yesterday.
Hmm.
I think it was playing this and a drop, of course, Roger
Yeah.
from the promo set, which we could talk about a little bit after this one since it's in purple. But yeah, so I think it was playing both of these, and they both felt reasonable there as well. So like it feels like a generically good purple card.
Yeah, I do think it is a generically powerful purple card. And it's like, it feels like it's on the same footing as the secret rare Luffy, the purple one that has Rush, the 910,
Yeah, I was just gonna
where
say
like
that.
that one draws you a card, and this one rests a character. But the fact that this one puts you from 9 to 10 like right away and basically gives you a unrested Dawn to like cast a Gum Gum Giant with or something like that does really help it sometimes because it like sometimes you don't want to go down from 9 to 8 or whatever, but you'd rather go up And this can be helpful too, like if you have some other Dawn minus effect that you might use during your main phase or whatever, and then you play this after to get that Dawn back unrested. So there's a couple of interesting things that you can do with this. And like you said, the fact that it has Rush just generically does help it a lot in certain matchups like Blackbeard or other ones like that.
But it's kind of funny. You both were thinking the exact same thing because I was just looking at it, thinking about it. So compared to 9-drop 10k Luffy, this technically is at parity there because you're tapping to use one Dawn to attach to your leader. So it's basically a 9 cost, and you're getting 10k still attack, one on your lead, or yeah, on your leader, in one, and then 9 here. So it technically has a lot of similarities to that Luffy. Except, yeah, again, technically you get another one Dawn back, so technically you're swinging for 11 this turn.
Yeah, you
10.
can't swing with the last Dawn because you get it at end of turn.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's for events, yeah. But yeah, so it's a parity. So you still get 10k worth of attack, assuming your opponent doesn't have a high leader and your leader can attack.
Yeah.
If they have a 7k or a 9k lead, then, well, you're not really attacking with your leader. But
yeah, it feels a little bit better than the 9-10 in this metagame just because there is a lot of, 4 and 5 cost relevant blockers. So you'd rather like get rid of a blocker and try and kill them than draw the extra card that Luffy gets you. But, I think it is going forward. It'll be like, which one do I want? What's the metagame like? And they're kind of similar cards in that 9-drop powerful rush character type thing.
yeah, so it is kind of curious. Doesn't Emu's cards get higher? I mean, doesn't their cost go up or no?
It doesn't go
No.
up. It's just they
Okay.
start at 6 costs and you can they start kind of high and you can play them for cheaper. And like the 1-drop stage makes them cost 1 less or whatever. But you don't hit the 6-drop, but it does still rest the one that draws a card, which is very relevant. The Warcury.
Yeah, I was thinking it blocks, it taps down a blocker.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking. Does it do it? This one's a 6-drop that does, it's a blocker,
Yeah.
so you can get the other one. So it
Yes.
still taps down a blocker. That's what I was trying to think.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, the other card that I have, I think it's like a number 12 on my list. Like, this technically is a card to note. Like, it is just a good 0-drop. These are, it's the card you should have in your collection. Just having the 0-drop events. I know it's showing up outside of Rogers.
Yeah.
I think it was in the Luffy list, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So like it's showing up like it being like a sort of like a impact minus AK power. So
Mm-hmm.
and also being a nice little counter. So it is an interesting card. I can't imagine this card being that expensive as a rare. So I mean, I would definitely pick them up if you can get them for 50 cents a pop.
Yeah. I think that you're right that it's like not unreasonable to put it in a top 10 slot because it is technically Mono Purple's only way, like only reliable way to kill 10 drops, right? Like it does require them to turn the 10 drop sideways. But if you do manage to like survive a 10 drop Gold Roger attacking into you, you can play this and, for 5, you give it -8, which just means it's a 5k body that you can just attack into with anything and probably kill it. And I think that's why a lot of purple decks are playing it now, just because it has that nice little out. But yeah, it's mostly just a 2K, mostly just a 0-cost event.
Yep. And then on to black. You have Marcus Mars.
Yeah.
So I know it comes down. You have 7 or more in trash. It gains blocker, can't be removed. I never understood why it has that tax, but sure, on play, you could trash a card and then KO up to one character with base cost 5 or less.
Yeah.
So what makes this guy so much better than the others?
He's the main one that's playable in other decks that aren't just Emu. What with just the fact that like Marcus Mars is the first like black card to care about base cost 5 or less, and it's one of the ones that makes Emu so strong because there's a bunch of characters that you think would be hard to remove, but that just get killed easily by Marcus Mars, right? Like any of the cost raising black cards or Sanji pudding, like you can kill it even if they have stage. And like that's just really flexible. And there is other decks that can play this card even outside of Emu, right? Like if Emu ever does get banned, they could play it in Lucci, and they do already often play it in Red Black Sabo, just because that deck does also get to 7 cards in trash very easily. And there are actually a lot of black decks that both get to 7 cards in their trash relatively easily, and actually could use a blocker that KOs a character. So it just does a lot of stuff, and it's like obviously good in Emu by itself. It like is the reason why Emu wins a bunch of matchups that it shouldn't. But yeah.
It is a huge tempo swing. Not only are they getting 5 cards on their side of the board, they're minusing 1 off your side of the board. It's like, oh, that's a bit much to be honest, but respect.
But like it's also totally fine to cast this thing for 6
Yeah, it
or
is.
5.
I mean, because it's at worst case, at best case, in worst case, it doesn't take much Dawn to make it tack into lead 5. I mean, even if it's a 6K, 5K lead or 6K lead, it's only 1 Dawn you're adding to this, so it doesn't take much to make this an actual a good attacker while also removing a body. It kind of reminds you a little bit of 5-drop Sanji, except it's less hoops.
Yeah.
Kind of to turn on the KO effect.
Yeah.
So, and it's a rare, so it's much cheaper.
For sure.
And so we have Sabo, and
The secret rare, so it's at the very
yeah, at the
bottom.
bottom. And I think the only one left over after that is Bonnie.
You have the 9-drop Bonnie on your list?
Yeah, I have her at 9.
Okay.
I don't think she's as impressive now, but like I said in the previous podcast, I think she's something to look at, especially if ST29 Luffy is good. I mean, yeah, it's
Mhm.
good. Then it's an egghead leader, so she gets a lot more value there. But on play, if your leader has egghead type, this gains rush, and then your opponent basically adds a card from top of their life to their hand. I'm not sure why they had to nerf that technically. Could have just said damage, but I guess they didn't want her just to come down and KO their opponent.
Yeah.
And then of course trigger if you have 1 or less life, rest up to one of your opponent's characters with cost 7 or less. So what do you think about Bonnie?
For me, it like was the last card that I cut. It was my like 11th card, just because it like Yellow Bonnie just kind of is a bit of a weaker leader. Like the cards in it just aren't as good as the cards in some of the other OP13 leaders. But this card is the main reason why that deck wins games, right? Like if you win games with Yellow Bonnie, it's because you drew multiples of this card. I still need to test it in Vegapunk because I do think there is like a reason to play it potentially in Vegapunk against a couple of different matchups, right? Being able to activate your leader to give yourself a life and still play this, or play this and hold up an event, depending on what you want to do. So, and of course, we'll have to see how good the starter deck Egghead Luffy is or whatever. But it's a very, very powerful rusher, and yellow, like Egghead was kind of missing a boss monster, which it does now have, but uh, Vegapunk is definitely still a little low power for what other OP13 decks are doing.
Yeah, it's not even including the thing that I'm thinking is going to happen. But since we can confirm that EB04 is egghead themed,
Hmm.
so everyone's kind of speculating why isn't Kuma in OP14. I'm thinking it's probably the leader in EB04. I
Yeah,
could be
maybe.
wrong. If it is, she's most likely going to be yellow. And it would be so fitting to have this Bonnie as the actual one of the main attackers in that Kuma deck if it actually is a egghead Kuma. But that's just speculation. I'm thinking that's what it's going to be. I would hope that's the case because everyone is really wanting Kuma. Everyone loves Kuma, so
Yeah.
and people will get really mad if they realize they got shafted if it's not an EB04 and it's not an OP14, which is the 7 Warlords. That would be a really big shaft. So I hope that he's the leader in EB04. which would mean he would be in OP15 because yellow is an OP15.
Yeah.
So if people didn't know, I know they divided the six colors three and three. Yellow, red,
Oh.
yellow, red, and something else is in OP15. Purple, blue, and something else is in OP14.
Oh, that's awkward.
That's what I've seen because Ross plays.
Hmm.
He showed it, and they showed the three colors underneath of both of them on the release. So I'm assuming that means yellow will be 100% of EBO4 should be in OP 15. So if it is a Kuma yellow leader, it will be in that set.
Definitely awkward.
I hope that's the case. I am praying. If you want that to be the case, put it in the comment section.
Yeah.
We need traction. And of course, talking about the last card, I should have maybe brought up Luffy as well. Honestly, Luffy has felt pretty reasonable. What deck did I just play him? I literally just played him. Um,
Kind of underwhelming.
you think?
When I've played it, it has been very underwhelming.
Can't remember what deck I literally just. Oh, it was Zanji. I just played him in Zanji.
Yeah. I have not played that deck yet, but I've been cutting it for most of my Zoro Sanji lists. Or like down to 2.
Yeah, I mean him just attacking, maybe getting them two, and then attacking again. You could easily KO somebody. But of course, I think the best of the three brothers is Sabo, and I don't even think it's close. Like Sabo actually is like the best card
Yeah.
when it comes to the new Sabo leader. So it's a blocker, 7,000, pretty reasonable stat line. Activate 2, up to one of your characters gets +2 cost until end of turn, and then give Arrested Dawn to your Sabo leader, basically. So I don't know if Koala would ever pick this up. Like, I don't know if that's a thing it wants, but they have Nico Robin. But
Yeah.
so it's up to. I think either way, it's probably not bad. Maybe this actually is needed for both because the rest of Dawn does allow Koala to attack into a 6.
Yeah.
So maybe that actually is needed. So maybe both decks actually get a boost with this one. But I do think this is a really good card. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I mean, there's definitely like a bunch of decks that you could consider playing this in. I think its biggest downside is definitely the fact that it is counterless, right?
Mm.
But I mean, 6/7 blocker is not a bad stat line in general, and it's just a card where it's like this is really the card that makes the red black Sabo leader like viable just by itself. Where like this card is so good in red black Sabo leader because it activates the leader effect, giving you 1k on your leader and 1k on your board. And then it's a 6/8 blocker, right? It costs 6 to cast, but it's a 8 cost in play, so hard to interact with. And it's then an 8k blocker in the red black Sabo deck. And 8k blockers are just really, really good. Like that difference between 7 and 8k feels really big sometimes. And you can play it in other decks, but I mainly have it on my top 10 list just because of how insanely strong it is in red black Sabo, the leader.
Yeah, so I mean, there's two noticeable other decks you could play him in. Of course, we talked about Koala, and the other
Mhm.
one is for all of you Usopp fans out there.
Oh yeah.
Usopp has a new DeRosa card. It's been waiting quite some time for a DeRosa card. So
Yeah, something else you could play off of the 7-drop Rebecca if you don't have the Kairos.
yes, that is so true. I was thinking about that. Yeah, you could do that. That's not that bad. Like you have a
Hmm.
4,000, and then you have a 7,000 blocker, so it's like a very defensive metric you could do. But yeah, the
Yeah.
Sabo was perfectly, I think, designed for um, Sabo because you could either, if you really needed to protect another thing, you could always give that to additional cost to something else. Um, because it doesn't say this has to be the thing that gets the bonus, but so that is,
Yeah.
I think, it for the cards. So, is there anything
Right.
else you wanted to talk about, honorable mention wise?
We just both kind of agreed that like our honorable mention was the 8-drop Roger, which is not in OP13, but it's like coming out shortly after OP13, the promo Roger, where I don't know. I think you'd have to like look it up as an individual card, but like that card's really strong in a bunch of different purple decks. You can just search, search bar, Roger. Oh, they don't have it on here at all yet. Hit enter, see what comes up. Oh, they don't even have it on Limitless yet.
Yeah.
But there's an 8-drop gold Roger where it says if you or your opponent have 10 Don, you get plus 2,000 power to your leader until the end of your opponent's next turn. And that card's just really strong in a bunch of decks. Because it's an 8 cost, it's really good in Roger because you can play it when you hit 10 Don, but you still don't actually have 10 Don. It's good in blue purple Luffy. Like, there's a bunch of different purple decks that can play this card, and just like 8-10 is an insanely strong stat line as well right now with all the 6K leaders running around. Just really strong stat line, really strong text, and really good for a lot of purple decks.
Yeah, just coming down and immediately boosting your leader by 2 is kind of crazy. Plus, being an 8-10,000 attack line is not bad. You're not gonna really. And the thing, every time I see this card, it kind of like slows you down to the point where like turn after turn after turn, it feels like it's unwinnable. As you see them stack up these gigantic 10K bodies. It is a real reality. I've seen it multiple times. Like, by the time I was trying to go for lethal, they had 3 of these on the board at that time, and I was like, it's all or nothing type situation because they have it going.
Yeah,
So,
and blue purple plays the 9-drop blue Sanji into this quite often, and that's also like really really strong.
yeah, I just hope going forward they stop printing this caliber of cards as promos.
Yeah,
That's just me. So if you go back over, like, they could have easily swapped out something that's not as big of a deal. I mean, even honestly, this SR would have been better off being the promo. It's not
yeah.
seeing that much play. Um, but still, like, they could have easily done maybe something else. Thinking there's not a lot of SRs that seems to be in Rogers. There's only just the 2. Because I can't imagine that Roger ever being a rare. Like, that doesn't seem like a rare caliber card. It seems like a super rare.
Yeah, if it was rare, it would have to be like actually leader locked or something.
Yeah, and looks like they don't give us 2 super rares. Yeah, so I do think that they could have easily put that in the set and pushed something else into the promo slot. I mean, this card is just too needed
Yeah.
to be a promo like this, and it's a lot harder for the West to get access to it. I know the East gets it like right away. Like, it's not hard for the East to get to acquire this promo, but
Yeah. There's always so many more cards in Japan than there are players, and in the West it's like the opposite, where there's so many more players than there are cards, because there's not just players, there's also collectors and investors and stuff like that, which drives up the cost of everything.
I mean, it's not even considering the fact it makes a lot of sense since Japan's what the size mass of smaller than Florida, isn't it?
Yeah,
And it probably
definitely.
has more people than Florida because Tokyo is humongous. But
Yeah, but not many, not that much more.
yeah, I mean, I guess Florida technically has like 5 big cities. But yeah, so it's like I get it. It's like they've mass produced over there because it's small. Um, but I mean, technically, I guess I never really asked the question. So, how many different languages do they support?
Just 3 right now.
So, like in Korea, they have English or Japanese or
I think they have English, but there's like English Asian version. But as far as I'm aware, there's English, Japanese, and Chinese. But there might also be Korean, so it might be 4. But yeah, currently it's English, Japanese, some Chinese cards, and Korean. But the Korean language only goes up to like set 6 or something like that. They're like a year and a half behind or something.
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. I didn't know what technically who all incorporates under the East. Is it just Japan or is it Japan and China?
Yeah, I mean, in the East, everybody like most Chinese people still play with Japanese cards, but there's still some Chinese cards as well.
Now I was asking who's incorporated in the East. Like which is it just Japan or is it what countries also?
Japan and all of East Asia,
Okay.
you know,
I never.
Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, China.
Okay. I wasn't sure what all it encapsulate. You know.
Mhm.
So is there anything else you want to discuss before we close out the
No,
podcast?
that's it for me. I mean, I've said it a bunch of times, but I'll keep repeating it because I think it's important. Definitely enjoy PRB2 while we still have it. There's going to be a lot of ranting and raving in OP13 about something because it is the biggest power and metagame shift we've had in quite a long time. I think literally since OP05 or whatever, something like that. But so be wary. But still, I think the game has plenty to enjoy. And I do expect Empty Throne will be banned. And after that, things will be different. But keep your spirits up. Game's still good. Game's still fun. It will continue to be fun. And yeah, thanks for watching. Play us out, Kebby.
Yeah, so next week, we'll probably be we were going to be discussing new decks from OP13 to get you hyped up. I'm gonna try to keep the deck list as much as I can, not the meta. Like trying to bring you some rogue decks that you could maybe enjoy. Like I know Rosazante is doing reasonably well.
hmm
Blackbeard's doing stuff. So
hmm
I'm not. We're hopefully we try to focus more on the not off meta stuff so that we can make our the meta diverse a little bit, at least when it
Yeah.
comes to regionals, and not just regurgitate that it's emu. But I mean, we could definitely look at like 16 different versions of emu. Like that could be a thing. Okay.
There's no such thing. All the versions of Emu are the exact same. There's 4 cards you can change in the deck list, and that's about it. 4 to 6 cards, but you have to play like 45 cards locked. So
Yeah, it's like they alter between do you play Stussy? Do you not play Stussy? There's
yeah.
like a few other small changes. Yeah, so that's gonna be next week, and of course the week after that is we're gonna be really, I think, looking in and seeing the first week of the set being dropped, see how maybe the power rankings have changed and what decks are performing well. Which I don't think we're gonna be too surprised there.
Yeah.
And we'll have to figure out some other stuff to discuss as well. Let us know in the comment section what you guys want us to discuss in regards to OP13 in the next set. Of course, I mean, OP14 is around the corner in a couple. It's next year, isn't it? OP14.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot sooner than I expected.
It's next year, right? So it's we've still got a couple months at least. So
Yeah,
maybe
but I
maybe
think
we
it's like early February.
okay. So like I said, ask us questions down below. That's what the comment section's for. We'll get it to the next podcast. Do you have any closing statements?
No, I have my last OP. I guess my one statement is I have my last PRB2 tournament this upcoming Sunday, where I'll probably just be playing Bonnie. So tune into the stream. Hopefully that goes well and we have some fun.
Yeah, and I'll be streaming on Wednesday. So the goal on Wednesday is going to be I'm going to be playing one or two of the new decks from OP13. So I'm going to be start kicking in to gear, working more and more on OP13 stuff now. So we'll see how that pans out. And until next time, have a great rest of your day.